This is standard 9th political science lesson number 3, India's defense system. We are going to see about national security first. Every nation like India creates a defense system at national level. In international system, the sovereign nations cooperate with each other, but there are also conflicts between them. There are disputes between nations over boundaries, water sharing, not following terms of international treaties, constantly competing against each other, and influx of refugees from neighboring countries. Whenever such a conflict arises, it is sought to be resolved by compromises and discussions. However, when such efforts do not succeed, a nation may resort to war. Now, if these conditions are not fulfilled, if there are disputes between two nations, and what happens then? The conflicts, it arises on a high level, then what happens? The situation of war is there. A nation attacks another nation and challenges its sovereignty and endangers security. In such a situation, the nation's first duty is to keep the security systems well prepared and ready. It is called national security. So in such type of situations, a country has to maintain its national security. It has to its first duty is to keep the security systems well prepared. Well prepared means well arranged and should be ready, that in any moment or any minute or any second, if the orders are given, they should be ready to attack. There should be no hurry or scurry during that time. They have to act on their level very promptly and immediately. There should be no delay from them. So that is known as national security. Now, ways to safeguard national security. National security is more likely to be endangered by neighboring countries. A nation must assess the threat to its geographical boundaries and the source of that threat. To keep this threat in check, a nation has to increase its military might, that is military power. A nation has to, if they are getting the threat from the neighboring countries, and if they are feeling that they are unsafe from them, so they have to keep their military power very strong, and it has to use modern technology to predict the threat, to build weapon system and modernize and update the defense forces. So they have to use the modern technology, and they have to have their weapons, and they have to update their defense forces. So they have to use all the possibilities to keep themselves ready for the war situation. Some nations try to get the support of other nations to manage the threat to their national security. So some of them, they have the tie-ups with each other. They have the this support of each other, and they have this discussion, and that if there is this war arising, so we will be supporting you in this warlike situation. Now, India's security system, we'll see. India's security system includes the army, navy, and the air force that defend the country. The responsibility of protecting the geographical boundaries is of the army. The navy protects India's coastline, and the air force is in charge of protecting India's airspace. The Ministry of Defense controls these forces. So these are coming under Ministry of Defense, that is Air Force, Navy, and Army. Now, Indian Army, it is said that it is the world's 7th largest army. Its chief is known as General. The Chief of Navy is known as Admiral, and the Chief of Air Force is known as Air Chief Marshal. The President of India is the Supreme Commander of the Defense Forces. Defense Forces cannot take any decisions about war or peace without the consent of the President, who represents the civil power. So these Defense Forces cannot act on their own about war or peace situation without the consulting President or without informing. President has to give the orders and they follow it. They cannot do anything on their own. In a democracy, civil leadership is considered superior to military leadership. The defense forces are adequately modernized. For this, some research institutions have been set up in India. So we are having a research institution for having the modern techniques into our defense forces. Many training institutes have also been set up, such as National Defense Academy, that is NDA at Pune, and National Defense College, that is NDC in Delhi. Now we are going to see about what are the paramilitary forces. The Border Security Force, the Coast Guard, the Central Reserve Police Force, that is CRPF, the Rapid Action Force, that is RAF, are some of the paramilitary forces. These forces are neither completely military forces nor completely civil forces. Their main task is to help the defense forces. So these are the support system for defense forces. That is, if the requirement is there, so they are given the duties there, they are posted there, and they have to do their duties on that level and in that area. They are responsible for the security of important locations like railway stations, oil depot, water reserves, etc. So these are the places where they are having their duties. Paramilitary forces. Then they play a role in management of disasters. The responsibility of protecting the country's international borders during peacetime also rests with the paramilitary forces. Now we are going to see about the Border Security Force. Now this force creates a sense of security in the minds of people living in areas near the border. Prevent smuggling and patrol the borders. They are having the duties on the border. So they prevent the smuggling, that is people, those who do the smuggling from this country to the other country. Then they are having the give the security to the people those are staying near the border, and they are doing their patrolling. Patrolling means they do the marching there, they do have the survey of the area properly, they do their duty properly. Then we are going to see about the Coast Guard. It was created to protect India's oceanic borders. It protects the fishermen within Indian maritime borders